And now 3 of us are gone.
Why'd you bring us here?
This was the best for the whole county.
Big kangaroo. What happened? No. What did you do to her?
We started a video where we were going to start reviewing The Walking Dead, and now we're going to dive into it and start with none other than season 1.
Season 1.
And like I said in the intro video, I did not watch this when it came out. I started, 4 or 5 years down the line.
Yeah.
So I was able to binge watch this, and it was great. And if you haven't seen it, we won't give too much away, but basically, it follows the character Rick Grimes and his partner Shane. They have some kind of a shootout.
Yeah.
And Rick gets shot and falls into a coma. And for me, and I'll ask you in a sec, it kind of reminded me of 28 Days Later, because he kind of woke up and the hospital's in shambles and you don't really know what's going on. He walks out, there's a whole bunch of bodies sitting there, but you don't see anybody. It was kind of weird.
Yeah, I don't remember if 28 Days came out before.
I think it was
I think
28 Days came out in like 2002.
Okay, so yeah, this was 2010.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a huge gap. But yeah, it pretty much starts like any other thing. The guy wakes up, doesn't know what's going on. It's the end of the world. So yeah, it's the typical start. It's what you expect. But for a TV show, it was just something new. Like it's never been done before on that scale. So
and you didn't realize how big this world was going to get.
Exactly.
He runs into a zombie, but you're still not quite sure what the heck is going on.
Right.
He goes home. His wife Lori and son Carl are gone, nowhere to be seen.
Yep.
So you're like, what happened?
So the life he had before is completely just he doesn't know what's going on.
But he's sitting there. I think he sees another walker.
Yeah.
And
you just walking the streets.
Yeah.
And
he's like, what is going on? And all of a sudden he gets hit with a shovel by a little young black kid, and then a guy shoots the walker, which happens to be Morgan.
Yep.
Which Morgan does play a big part, and I think he's even in Fear the Walking Dead.
He is, yeah. He's in the spin-offs.
Yeah.
He's become a huge part of the show, and
he was. You didn't know how big of a part he was going to play. He wakes up. They've got him tied up, and he's like, "Obviously, you're not one of them. I'm going to untie you."
Right.
He kind of explains what's going on. There's some powerful scenes that his wife, who's a zombie, we're talking about Morgan's, who's still walking around the house, and it's really powerful. Where he's up there, he's like on the second floor with the sniper.
Caesar,
he just can't do it.
Can't do it, man.
So once Rick kind of has the grasp of what's going on, he's like, obviously, I got to find a safer place.
And he used to be a cop, so he's got this connections of like, hey, let me go to the station, let me get some weapons. Let me get some radios. Let me see what we can do here.
And he gives Morgan some weapons, and he gives him a radio, and he says, if I find something, I'm going to call you.
Right.
So Rick, I think he's on a car at first, but the car obviously is going to run out of gas.
Right.
So he gets on
sees
a
horse.
horse.
A horse on the side of the road or something, like a farm.
So he's riding a horse. He's driving to Atlanta, and there's a really cool shot.
That's the iconic shot of
cars are just. There's nobody there.
Everybody's leaving the city.
Disaster, yeah.
And it's completely gridlocked, and he's the only one on that horseback
heading
going north into the city.
Yeah,
iconic shot.
He gets there and runs into a pretty massive herd.
Yeah,
and falls off the horse, crawls
under a tank.
Yeah, and honestly, this series is going to be over before it started because he was a second away from just ending it.
Yeah, he was completely surrounded.
Yeah, he put the gun to his head. He's like, it's over. And all of a sudden, he sees a hatch, crawls into the tank, and then you hear a voice on the radio.
On the radio, yeah.
And runs into, which happens to be Glenn. Another guy who lasted a long time in the series. And you really grew to care about that character.
Yeah.
So, I think we're in like episode 3 at this point. And Glenn, he runs into another group, which is Andrea, and there's a few other people, I think, there.
Yeah.
and Daryl's brother,
Yeah, you got Merle.
Merle.
You got Daryl.
and
Dale.
T-Dog.
T-Dog.
T-Dog, man. T-Dog made it a long time.
Lori.
Lori.
No, Lori's the wife. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I can't think of the other one's name.
But they're in the city. I think they're looking for supplies, and you obviously see that Merle is a character you really don't want to be associated with.
Absolutely not.
And
Typical.
finally, it comes to the point where Rick chains him to the roof and
Yep.
leaves him.
Has to. He's going out of
It's
control.
no choice.
Has to.
So they leave him there. They get out of the city, and I think we're now at episode 4, maybe.
Yeah.
They go to.
They have to get out of the spot that they're in. 'Cause
Yeah.
They're just trying to hold up in the city. It's like, look, we got to get out of here. Like,
We've
we
got
can't
to
stay here.
camp. We got to go back to the
Eventually,
camp.
we'll just get overrun. We can't just
Yes.
stay here. We have to move.
So they get out of there. They go back to the camp, which ironically is where Lori and Carl are.
And Shane.
And Shane, which of course in some of the scenes showing at the camp, Shane pulls the ultimate dick move
Yeah.
of sleeping with Rick's wife.
Well, he tells her
That he's
that
dead.
he's dead. Her husband is dead. He saw him die. He's dead. So
That's-
she doesn't know.
No,
But
I mean you
still.
get a little bit of a pass, but still,
you still come on.
Is there no time to grieve? I
Right.
know I'd be disappointed.
Yeah, we don't know what the time is, between that. So
No grieving.
No grieving.
But
Grieving,
anyway, they
grieving.
get reunited, and it's a bigger group, but I don't think you remember a lot of the names because a lot of them end up splitting off.
yeah, they end up taking off and
So,
dying or something. But
yeah. I forget the RV guy's name,
Dale.
Dale. And then, of course, then you meet Daryl, the
Yes.
younger brother of Merle. And, of course, their encounter's not so nice because he's upset that Merle was left chained to the roof.
Right. So he's like, I gotta go after him. I gotta get him. It's my
And
brother. you know?
Rick agrees to go because he's like, I left a set of guns.
I'm the one that did it too, so
And
I will
I'm the
go
one
with
that did
you.
it.
Yeah.
I'm going to get the guns. We'll get Merle. We'll
Yep.
get out of there. And kind of an iconic scene at the end of, I guess it's season 4 or episode 4, where they get up to the roof
And
and,
you see the
Daryl
hand,
just starts
yeah.
screaming and yelling, no, no, no. And you think that maybe he's a zombie.
Right.
And you look and you see the cuffs and you just see a hand sitting there.
Yes.
So he cut his hand off, obviously. Rick.
Yep.
Well, back in the city, run into another problem. There's a Latino gang
Mm-hmm.
who seem like they're going to be a pretty tough.
Yeah, they look like a huge threat
Yeah.
at first. You don't know,
And
obviously
then,
it's what you see.
yeah,
But
when it finally gets to the point, you see that they're really just trying to protect these people, older people in
Yeah.
nursing homes. So
They're
Rick
nursing
diffuses the situation. I think he even gives them a couple of guns.
I think so, yeah.
And they go back. Well,
I think they give them meds in return to or something
Yeah.
if they like heal the wounded or something like that. But
so it's a nice handshake.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll go our separate ways. So of course, on the other side at the camp, a herd attacks the camp.
Yeah.
Kills Ed, Carol's husband.
yeah,
Kills what was her name?
a few of the other people.
Somebody's sister.
Yeah.
She dies. So the camp is obviously distraught. This is not safe anymore. So Rick says we got to go.
Let's load
to
up the RVs.
Let's
and
get to the CDC.
Yeah.
So they get to CDC. It looks deserted. It's
Yeah.
locked up, nothing. But I think at one point, and it's been a while since I've seen this, but
Yeah,
the
yeah.
camera starts moving.
Something.
So
yeah.
Rick sees something like, hey, somebody's moving that camera.
Right,
Hey,
right.
let us in, let us in. And he finally lets them in. The last episode, they're at the CDC. This looks like, hey, man, they could hold up
It's
here
a safe
for
haven.
a
They have
while.
power. You got
With
water.
food, they had booze.
Things
Everybody
are
got
working
drunk
out,
one
yeah.
night. You know, even Shane at one point tries to get a little friendly with Laura again.
Too friendly.
Yeah, a little borderline sexual harassment.
A little bit.
But anyway, and then it come to find out he was doing research and he doesn't feel like there's any cure.
Right.
And then, hey, once this backup power goes away, this thing's going to explode and you guys are going to go with me.
Yeah.
So you're like, wait a minute.
Like, no, we want to live.
Finally,
We
Rick
wanna do that.
convinces him to leave or let them leave. He whispers something into Rick's ear, and we'll save that for season 2 because it's revealed later.
Yes.
But yeah, so they get out just in the nick of time, and it ends with them driving off.
Yep. And
So-
exploding. Huge explosion.
Huge explosion.
Them driving off in the
Yes.
RVs on
The
the
doctor's the one that stays, and I forget the woman's name. She's a black lady.
She stayed
She
with
stayed
them.
behind.
Yeah, yeah.
Those were the only 2 that didn't make it. But the majority of the group, they're moving on, and we're rolling into season 2.
Gotta keep going.
Yeah.
Gotta keep moving.
So yeah, that's season 1 in review. If you haven't watched the series, I recommend checking it out. If you're like me, and I'll be honest, like I said in the first one, it started off a little slow for me.
It did.
It really did, and honestly, I didn't finish it. I watched the first episode, I watched half of it, and I said, this is it for me, and I put it on the shelf for about 3-4 more years.
Yeah.
And I watched it again, and once it starts picking up momentum, and you're like, wow.
Yeah, it really gets so much better in the in the middle seasons and then towards the end. And
Yeah.
you have to get to that first season to get to those, unfortunately. But it's worth the ride to get through it all. Yeah, it's and characters come back and they do this. It all connects eventually at some point. So you have to learn these people.
When we go into like episodes or seasons 2 and going on forward, I'll reveal like how I felt more about the series. But season 1 I was okay with. I thought it set it up nice.
Yep.
And it definitely interested me enough to start season 2, which I was able to go right into because I didn't watch it live.
You didn't have to wait a year.
I didn't have to
for
wait the
season
whole
2
summer.
like I did.
Yeah. And of course, the more we do this, the cliffhangers get worse and worse.
Oh my God, that's a whole nother
So
Oh
yeah,
my God, I
so
remember those days.
watch for more to come. Look out for season 2 review coming soon, and we'll see you later.
This is the best for the whole county.